So I just saw David Fincher's brand new movie, The Killer, and it was pretty good. I was very excited to see this. I went completely blind, only seeing bits and pieces of the trailer, and I was just sold from the moment that I heard that David Fincher was going to make a movie about a hitman, and that's all I knew about it. And it was Michael Fassbender, so I was just like, I'm sold. I was not a big fan of Mank. He made a couple years back. It was an interesting story, but it just didn't really get to me. It didn't grasp me like his other films really did. This, on the other hand, was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. And you could even tell with some of the marketing with the trailer that I've seen that it even references some of his bigger hitter movies like Seven, Fight Club, Gone Girl, making this seem like it's a little bit on that caliber of a movie, being intense or dark. I was really a big fan of how simple this movie was. I really liked following along this character as a hitman, seeing what he was going to do, how he was going to get out of this situation. This movie just felt more of like a ride than a movie. It went by really fast for 2 hours, which is pretty great. I really like how we learn less about him. It really follows with his actions of how subtle and how like meticulous this character is. But with this movie and this character being so simple, I feel like it didn't really warrant anything when it came to the emotional stuff in terms of how him having empathy for some of his victims and the love interest in the Dominican Republic that was very interesting, but it didn't really feel important until the end when you realize that's why he's trying to get out of here to try and protect her, get back at all the people, where he's showing emotion and a job when he shouldn't. It was pretty interesting, and I just love following this character. I think out of anything, this feels like it feels like an episode out of Mindhunter, which is so good that David Fincher made. Back on Netflix. It's felt very tense and very subtle. It's a very subtle and simple movie with a really good like atmosphere. I like its visual presentation. The silhouettes I remember being really unique and seeing all these shadows, really adding to the mystique of this character. And it was cool seeing all these scenarios and locations he went to go through to tie up all these loose ends when he was a loose end. I really found it interesting that this movie took the hitman route with the one you don't really see a hitman really making a big mistake and then the consequences of that, because this movie is really about the consequences of your actions through a hitman when there aren't really much consequences. I think Michael Fassbender does a really good job of portraying this character as not just a psychopath, but more or less just a normal person, which is what's really off-putting. How like this person could be anywhere or anyone you know, and how meticulous he is. I think some of the things that really brought it back for me were some of the dialogue choices. I do like the inner monologues, but there's some weird choices where it says stuff like "I don't give a fuck" or "part of the normies" or I was like, wait, why are you saying that? Another thing I found a little annoying was the music choices. I thought it was kind of hilarious that he uses music to calm down his heart rate to 60 beats per minute, and he only listens to the Smiths. And I found that to be really hilarious. That's all he listens to. That's all this psychopath really like enjoys to do is just listen to the Smiths while he's driving away or holding a body. Or I thought it was really weird how he just all you could hear was the Smiths in the background. I even looked up like someone made a soundtrack on Spotify and there's only like one song that's not the Smiths, which is pretty funny. While I do enjoy the ride of this movie, nothing really stood out. No scene really stood out to me. No scene really made me like, whoa, my gosh, this happened. It kind of plays off of how unremarkable the character is in terms of how he wants to like get out of plain sight. While I did have a lot of fun watching this, probably not something I would rewatch again because the thrill is trying to see what this character is going to do and like figure out and how to get out of this situation. And once you kind of know what he's doing and why he's doing stuff, it just kind of loses it a little bit. Not that it's bad or anything, I just think of how simple this story is and this character is. Really is a double-edged sword because there's a lot that could be done with it. While this was a very interesting and fun movie to watch, probably not something I'll watch again, but I'm thinking like a 7 out of 10 for this. Yep, thank you.